we're living in the real world. It's hard. We all have lots of stuff to do, and music is a reflection of the chaotic lives that we live, and we try to be honest to the people.
Radium Dolls are living proof that hard work pays off. Despite the grown-up obligations of daily life, they've managed to remain one of Brisbane's busiest bands, never missing a show and recording the next big idea only when the exact moment strikes. Their second album, Wound Up, comes out Friday, and it was created in a similar fashion to their first, but the term sophomore slump is not even in their vocabulary. This wild band thrives in the boundless space between chaos and precision, and about a month ago, I spoke with singer Will Perkins and drummer Bryce Equinox about these very principles. Wound Up, your second album, comes out at the end of January.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, I believe Moving is your latest single. It's slower, it's contemplative, and so for a band that's known for these fast, high-energy shows, what do you think this newer single says about your depth, your versatility as a band?
Great question. I think that one of the hidden secrets about our band is that we cannot be pigeonholed. And Tom, my brother, who's the guitarist in the band, him and I made that song about 5 days before we were about to start recording the album. It was just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was because I was literally moving out at the time, and I wrote a little poem about it, as I tend to do. And Tom was sitting in the lounge room playing some really beautiful guitar, and I was like, keep that going. And I sang over the top of it, and then 3 minutes later, we had a song that was done, and we were like, let's put that on the album. So yeah, I guess the thing about us is we, if we like it, if we feel moved by it in any way, we record it and we do it. Like I say, we can't really be pigeonholed, and if we like something, we just make it. And there's always sort of weird things that we come up with, and we always got to throw in a slower one for the chillers.
Of course, yeah. It sounded like a very organic way that the song came together. How often would you say that happens, or is it usually more of a decisive, we're going to sit down and write a song type of thing?
I would say in the early days of us being a band, I used to write the songs, and I used to sort of already have a chord progression, and I'd bring them to the boys, and it'd be a lot more formulated to begin with. But I think as we have grown more comfortable with each other as a group, I think that we have started sort of freehanding stuff a lot more in the sort of later years. And obviously, like, Tractor Parts was another one that came really quickly and easily. And I feel like you always know if it comes together quickly and easily, it's probably going to be good. A lot of the songs we've stewed over and tried to get right, they're still good songs, but they lack something, they lack urgency, I guess.
Right.
But I think that, yeah, as we develop as a band, we're getting a lot better at being able to get together in a room, and someone plays something, and we can sort of come up with stuff on the fly, which is really exciting, I think, as a songwriter.
Yeah.
To just know that someone will do something inspiring, and, we can start songs that way.
Mm-hmm. Your first album was recorded over 2 days total, and at the time, I was reading that it was generally kind of agreed upon throughout the band that you guys didn't necessarily create with any like big picture in mind for the band's style. And so, now that you're releasing your second album, has anything changed about those ideas, or?
Not at all, man.
Okay.
I think that we all feel just really lucky to be able to do what we do. We all work full time still on other things, and I think this second album maybe had a bit more pressure, in the sense that we kind of said we were going to do it, and now we have like a team of people that manage and organize us, and they were like, where's the album? Like, we need it, Yeah. And it's like, so we felt the heat a little bit more on this one, but I will sound arrogant here, but I think we're just such a great outfit that we can always rise,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, the pressure kind of spurred us on to just get it done, and that's why it's called Wound Up, because everybody was just strung out and tired, but it was like, we have to, this is what we do. So I'm hoping that the next album will be more more relaxed, I think, because it'll be a little bit more, we'll have a better run up at it and stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, we just by whatever means necessary, we make songs, and yeah.
This is just kind of reminding me, I think also that you had booked, for your first album, Legal Speed, you had booked studio time before like half of it was even written. Is that on track?
Yeah, that's definitely. Was that Legal Speed or was that this one? I feel like the same thing happens every time. Like I think that we are a band that there's so much stuff swirls around, but once you have a deadline, it really helps us, because it's like, all right, we have to have it done by then, and then we can see the finish line and we get it done. So yeah, I think both albums have kind of been like that. I know that on the Legal Speed, like we had when Man Scout came out, we had a single tour booked and all the shows were booked in, but we didn't have a song yet. And our manager Agnes was like, "Where's the song?" And we were just like, "Oh shit!" And so we made Man Scout, and it was like this really silly song. But I don't know, like, we're living in the real world. It's hard. We all have lots of stuff to do, and music is a reflection of the chaotic lives that we live, and that we try to be honest to the people.
And you definitely, so would you say you find it more helpful then to create under some sort of constraint?
I think so, man. I think that like I think back to when I was in high school and stuff, and I never studied, I never did my homework until I knew that it had to be done by a certain point, So it kind of feels like that. It's like we can fart ass about and play jam all day long, but when you have a deadline and all of a sudden there's people listening to your stuff and you feel some sense of obligation to get it done, I think a deadline helps us, Yeah, for sure.
So if you had to pick a favorite song from this album, it sounds like it came together well, just quickly. And so if you had to pick one or a couple, I guess, what do you think your personal favorite would be?
My two favorites off the album, I think probably Moving. I love that song. It was quite cathartic for me, I think. I think for all of us. So I really like that one. And the other one that I really like, it's called Daddy. And it came to be in a very similar sense that Moving came to be, in that it got written right before we were about to go and record. And we had enough stuff for an album, and we had the recording time booked in and stuff. But I feel like a lot of magic comes out when the time is booked, and you end up with some really authentic music that you don't have time to overthink and kind of destruct in a way. So, and Moving and Daddy were both like that. They were born very quickly and authentically, and to me they're the best songs, I think. I'm really proud of all of the songs. I think they're all great. There's one song on the album actually too called The Rat Song for a Film, which I wrote, which I stewed over for, like, in contrast, I stewed over this song for months. Like, it was for a film that I am acting in and my friend was directing, and he wanted me to write a song for it, and I really didn't want to get it wrong. I had this real sense of like, I've got to get this right, and it really kind of nearly destroyed me, to be honest. So I'm always a big fan of the songs that basically just write themselves, and then some of your friends will hear them and be like, "That's a great song," and you'll be like, "Is it?" Sweet, it was easy. I love that.
Yeah. Bryce, did you have any favorite songs on this album?
Oh, Bryce, are you here?
Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Oh, what's up, man?
Hang on, man. Good to see you. Long time no see.
Yeah. Well, I fell asleep at 9:30 last night, so has been a while.
I saw you. Pretty cute what I walked out from. Yeah, with the album, Will's right. It was a bit different. We threw a few things together, and I think there's some magic in some of the songs. I really like the last song, All That Falls. It's probably another example of one we stewed over for ages, and it didn't really change heaps, I don't think, probably by the time we finished it. But I think the recording was something that I didn't see sounding as big and cool as it did, and it'll be the last song on the album. And I think it really way to see out the that mood that we were in, this whole wound up mood. I think is a real song of catharsis and a big outro, and yeah, it kind of felt right as a way to cap off that writing process, which was so different to how we've done it before. There wasn't really many regimented songs that were like, hey, the song's gonna go like this, this, this. It was really just like this person would write this riff, or I would write something on drums, or Will would come with lyrics, or I mean, I think Will came with a key in mind, and it was just like random little prompts that we sort of just used to create with that deadline in mind. But
yeah. With Daddy too, like you guys just started, we were having one of our last rehearsals before recording and they started playing that hook and I was like, whoa, like, and I recorded it on my phone and I was like, I can't think of anything right now, but leave that with me. I'm going to write this tonight. And that's what I did. I took it home, listened to it, wrote it, took it back to practice the next day, made it work, and that was that. It was on.
Yeah. There's a lot more of that this time around. It's cool.
Good. I was gonna ask, I feel like a lot of albums, at times they have like these sleeper songs where maybe it's one that you came up with really quickly or you don't think much about at first, not necessarily one of your favorites per se, but then people connect with that song a lot better. Are there any that you would maybe think could be like a sleeper song on the album?
To me, that's what Moving is, I think, because typically we write albums that are fast. They tend toward being fast-paced and a bit frantic, and then we always try to include, I guess, some that are a little bit more heartfelt. And for me, obviously, Moving is quite personal. So to me, that was a sleeper. It was like, this is just a nice little song that, you know, certain people might connect with. But so far, the response has been that's really sort of like, some of my friends have sent me messages since it's come out and been like, man, that really hit me, that song. Like, so yeah, that's probably the sleeper for me, I'd say.
All right.
Yeah, like
agree.
The album Casino was a similar sort of a vibe. What do you think, Bryce?
Yeah, I probably agree. That was one that felt very good from the second we played it, whereas like I think pretty much everything else on that, there was probably some trial and tribulation associated with it, whether it was that, like, I don't know, there wasn't I know there was an element missing, whereas that was just, yeah, like Will said, Tom and him had sat down that afternoon, nodded out their part, and then by the time we came together, it's kind of like a very, for me on drums, and I think for you and probably on bass, it's a very strap-in kind of song that's very dynamic, and there's kind of like different sections, but it sort of just started and has ended that way. Like, it never has really taken any different forms, whereas I think every other song on that album we could say at some point took some other form, whereas that was just a very organic, here it is.
Although, except for Golden Boy. Golden Boy is another sleeper, I would say. That song was, the boys and I went and did a riding trip down at my parents' farm, and that song just, we were, you know, everybody was strung out, and the boys just played that riff, and I just started saying words over it, and we recorded it and stuff, and then I was like, oh, I like this, I'm going to try and rewrite this, and then when I tried to rewrite it, it was just no good, so we just went back to what I was saying on the original night, and I think there's some magic in just coming up with stuff on the fly. It makes it a lot more honest in some senses.
Yeah. What do you think made you want to rewrite it initially? Or does that often happen when songs just sort of come about like that?
Well, I guess like the desire to make something as good as it possibly could be, and like a sense of what you have done in the first instance not being good enough, you know, like I don't know about you, but I'm sure we all get anxiety about our roles and trying to, especially, you know, with the boys, they're my best friends and they're like such amazing musicians, and I want to do the best, give them the best possible result, as we all do. And I think that when you write a song and you're a bit drunk and you're tired, you kind of suspect that you might be able to make it better, and you don't really give any thought to the fact that because you were so tired, the best thing already came out of you, you know, it kind of trims the fat. And so I guess, yeah, and then I started sort of trying to just make it into this more of a poem, and it just got too rigid, and there was just this really natural like almost drunken, slurry kind of way I was saying it, that it just couldn't be repeated.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I was like, that's the best. That's the best way to do this. So
yeah,
I just left it. It's just like a kind of just a G up to be like, you're on the right track. Keep going. It's all good.
It came out and it was just like us jamming for ages, and the lyrics are the same pretty much, but they seem like almost just random riffing at the time. It's kind of funny, but yeah, that song is definitely another that just fell together and didn't really change.
Yeah.
Flames flicking, sparks fly. Middle on middle on middle. Licking my face like a puppy dog. Is that all you've got?
Do you ever have trouble adapting these songs that you just sort of come up with on the fly into a live setting? Because I know that's like, it's really your thing. You know, you live for these live performances.
Not at all, man. The ones that come naturally to us are the ones I think we have the most fun to play, because they're almost inherent. Like they're almost just sort of inside you already. You already kind of know how it goes, like in your soul. That might sound kind of weird, but like, so we just get to embellish them on stage and really go hard. And so I think those ones are just the best to play. You know, you never have to worry about remembering the words because they're already just programmed into your head, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
do you have a recent standout performance where you were, because I know you guys have kind of just always are playing shows.
Yeah, we're busy.
Yeah.
Standout shows. I mean, anytime we play in Brisbane, we feel so humbled, because Brisbane is where we started the band, and none of us are actually from Brisbane, but Brisbane is where we all met. And so we played a hometown show recently, and that was awesome because we always just get great crowds. And but then also on our last tour, we went to Melbourne and Sydney, and they all sold out. And honestly, they're so sick, all of them. Wherever we go somewhere and people are singing the words back and want to meet us and stuff, it's just like it's so sweet.
Yeah.
So pretty much we love them all. We try to take that energy of we're going to put on the best show ever tonight every time, you know. So I love playing at home, but we love playing overseas, and we can't wait to get to the States. Hopefully you guys let us in.
Yeah. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Same.
So you've been there now for a little while, based there. Do you feel like you're pretty well connected with the local scene?
Oh, absolutely. Like it feels like home. Like it's the first city I could say that truly embraced me, you know. And as a kid trying to start a band, because I'd lived in Melbourne before, I'd lived in Sydney, I'd lived in Newcastle. It was the first city that really felt supportive, and that you weren't stepping on anybody's toes, and there wasn't this crazy sense of competitiveness. It was, you know, all your favorite bands you'd see them out on the weekends and stuff, and there was a real sense of community. And I think that Brisbane, I mean this, like it has that attitude about it. It's so wholesome and it's so supportive. And I couldn't, especially in Australia, you couldn't pick a better city to try and start a band. You know, like I love Sydney and Melbourne, but it's a bit tougher in those spots. I think it's a bit more competitive and a bit more trendy. And up in Brizzy, it's like the dusty city. It's like everyone's just trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brizzy rocks. It's always been super kind. I think Will's like so right. Like there's such a good scene of bands there that don't really like you won't be hard pressed to find indie bands hanging out with punk bands, hanging out with metal bands, or hanging out with
exactly.
everyone.
All the
like
bands know each other, and you know, no one's ever trying to bring anybody down and stuff. You know, it's just a sweet place. If you ever get the chance to get there, Jack, I don't know if you've been already, but
I'll have to check it out.
Definitely go. Yeah.
You guys are pretty tight with, probably a few bands in the area. Did I read that you're pretty good friends with Full Flower?
Yeah, absolutely, man. They're homies as. Yeah,
cool.
They're, one of the members, Christian, just lives down the road from me, and we hang out all the time. And Kate, the singer's a good friend. We've been playing shows together for years now, literally coming up on like 5 or 6 years. Like, we've known each other so long, and seeing them do well, it's just, yeah.
That's cool. I did an interview a couple years ago with Kate. Just one of the things that I took away from my conversation with her is that their sort of philosophy as a band is very, at least for her, it's very thoughtful. It's very methodical. You know, each album is like a response to the last. And so to see that, you know, you guys just definitely haven't always been that way. You have a different philosophy. So for
totally different.
So for bands like that to just completely get along, I think that clearly really says something about, you know, the scene where you're at.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it. Everybody's going about it their own way. And Brisbane, or the scene that we're used to, is really respectful of that. And we have a more loose system in place, I think, but it works for us, you know, whatever works.
Yeah. You mentioned just briefly your US tour coming up in March. So obviously this is your first tour in the US. Is it going to be your first time playing here, period?
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
It's we've never played shows overseas. We've done a lot of Australian touring, and we were going to go to the UK first as well, but we had like a booker that nothing was getting done, and I don't know, it just kind of wasn't working out. And then there was this big call from America we've got a big listener base in America and stuff, and that one just fell together way easier, a bit more expensive. But so that's our first time getting on an international flight, and we're going to need to buy new cases for our stuff, because every time we do local tours, we just look like we came out of the junkyard. Like, our guitar cases are all falling to bits. But yeah, we're so excited, man. New York first stop. Tickets are already selling pretty good, and yeah, can't believe it. Excited.
Yeah, I think we're pretty excited to have you guys. I have friends who I was like, heard I was going to do this interview, and I was just like, hey, have you heard of Radium Dolls? And I do have friends who know about you guys and are excited to see you. So
that's insane to me, man. Like, that is just insane. Like, we are all small town boys that I can't, to me that's just incredible. So I'm excited to come over there and cause some chaos.
Yeah, we're excited to see you guys.
Yeah.
I guess more specifically, do you have any sort of hopes or plans for, you know, your first time being in the US? Obviously, it's going to be a lot different than touring all over Australia, which is obviously what you guys are used to. Anything you're looking forward to specifically, or anything you're anxious about?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully not getting shot and hopefully getting let in. Honestly, if I don't get shot and I get let in, that's sweet. We've already had a good time.
Perfect. So it doesn't even matter how the tour goes.
I mean, I've never been to the Big Apple. I'm so keen to go to New York. I've been to like Cali before, but I'm so excited about it. We're playing South by Southwest, which is massive. So all of it. I'm not a religious man, but I'm praying that it all just goes smoothly. We get let in. We do what we went there to do, and we see some sights, see some big mountains, and drive around. Man, I'll be so stoked if I could just get back in one piece, having done a good tour, and be welcomed back. What about you, Bryce?
Like 3 weeks with 2 days off. So if we can not kill each other, is probably going to be if there's any shooting, it'll be us shooting each other. 2 days off. So we'll just try not burn out and get through it. And like, I'm keen as to hang out in Texas for a couple of days.
Yeah. Where are you from, Jack? Where are you based?
I'm based in San Diego.
Oh man, I've been there before. I love San Diego.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome spot. Yeah. The whole West Coast is lovely.
I think you guys have a stop in San Diego too on this tour.
I think we do. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are going all over. It's pretty comprehensive. It's honestly a pretty good deal for your first tour. So.
You're biting us. The local kids on motorbikes with no helmet. Sorry.
But your philosophy, though, I know Will has been quoted saying that your music performance, you'll literally do it till the wheels fall off, which also happens to be the title of one of the songs on this album. So I think you guys are going to be okay. I don't think anyone's going to shoot each other.
Yeah, no, we'll be totally fine.
Wound up tighter than the fence following us home. Ran beside us all the way. Up the east.
It's been like a year and a half, 2 years since you released the last album. You guys have obviously stayed really busy. What do you think you're most proud of since the last record, and what are you most looking forward to about Wound Up?
I think I'm most proud of just us in general because it's really difficult to be a musician. You know, I'm not trying to whine, but it's hard. You know, like it's a lot of work. We don't take any money from the band. We do it for free. We always have. Like the band makes money, but it just goes back into so we can afford to do things like go to America and make records, and we're fully independent. So it relies all on us just showing up, you know, week in, week out, and getting together, practicing, looking after each other when we're on the road. And I think that honestly, I'm just so proud of us for the fact that we've come another year. We're still together. We're still a band, and yeah, to me, that's just the best thing. You know, I'll do this like you said till the wheels fall off because I've got a good crew around me of guys who are in it for the long haul, and that's my answer anyway. What about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been absolutely insane. Yeah, it's one of those things to just do music for so long, and then I think this year's been a really like big step for us in terms of like hearing that more people are really liking it, and that's meant being a lot more busy and dedicating a lot more time. Just like ironic because we just get older and more committed to like our lives outside of the band. But yeah, it's cool to see that everyone can still push everything aside, and our work's so cool with us just hitting the road for a bit, and like yeah, we can just make it work, and I know that we can just keep making it work again and again. It's exciting.
Yeah,
to see what can happen.
That's it. It's like we all want to do this, so we just keep doing it, and it's hard work, but we're hard workers, and it's cool to see that people are starting to hear about us, you know, like people from America know who we are now, and the whole thing, it's just sweet, man. Like, I wouldn't change a second of it.
Awesome.
I just had to relocate because there's all the kids just got home and it's getting a bit chaotic around here.
Oh, yeah, no worries. It's like, is it 4:30 there?
Well, it's different for Bryce and I. I'm in New South Wales, so it's 5:30, but it'll be 4:30 p.m.
Okay. It's going to be quite the adjustment for you guys when you come over here.
Yeah. Adjustment or not, we'll show up.
Yeah.
We always do.
She helped me move to a new place when we were moving on.
Wound Up, the sophomore album from Brisbane's Radium Dolls, is out January 30th, and they embark on their first ever US tour just weeks later. Do yourself a favor, go see them if you're around, and listen to the new record. For more interviews with other cool bands, visit youngsteryear.com, follow this project on Instagram @youngsteryear, and listen to these interviews anywhere podcasts are available. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening.